Good afternoon, welcome to today's session. This is brought to you by AP State Skill Development Corporation, and we are conducting this program especially for the employability skill centers. There's already a classroom session which has already started in various districts in AP, and we are also combining the blended training methodology which is online. You're watching this live on MANATV as well as the YouTube channel of MANATV. All right, so let's begin. So in the last session we spoke about the consonant sounds. I explained to you sounds in English language since we are speaking about oral communication. I explained how we have 26 letters in English alphabet system. There are 21 consonants and 5 vowels, but we have 24 consonant sounds and 15 vowel sounds. So 26 letters that you see, those are mere letters, but here we are talking about sounds. So we have 24 consonant sounds compared to 21 consonants and 15 vowel sounds compared to 5 vowels. So vowel sounds or consonant sounds are different from a consonant or a vowel. Okay, I explained to you the 24 consonant sounds. I showed you the list as well as the example. I just want to take you through a quick recap to explain this again. So we have p, b, t, d, k, g, ch, j, th, th, s, z, sh, zh, f, v, w, h, r, y, l, m, n, and ng. So that's 24. I showed you examples of the 24 consonant sounds. So we have p sound, for example, pot, topple, top, b sound, bat, bubble, cab, t sound, table, bitter, pot, d sound, desk, advise, loud, k, kite, disclose, mask, goat, that's g sound, goat, magnify, big, ch, chain, discharge, march, j, joint, budget, charge, th, think, breathless, bath, the, this, rhythm, breathe, seal, mistake, miss, zoo, disown, breeze, shallow, location, brush, j sound, pleasure, beige, fun, often, tough, victory, level, brave, w sound, window, water or swift, hollow, adhere, r for example, ring, market, charter, yard, mayor, toy, listen, island, bottle, money, homework, groom, number, hunter, listen, ng or the ing sound, English, ringing, ring. So these are the examples which I showed you. Now the confusion happens between the consonant and the consonant sound. I'm just going to give you certain examples. For example, if you see the letter P, this is actually a p sound. For example, print. Now the letter P signifies p sound, but not always. For example, if I have the word which is photon, now here the letter P needs to be combined with H and it becomes an F, the first sound. For example, if I have the word photograph, again I have first sound. So just because I have the letter P doesn't mean I can pronounce this as per always. All right, I also gave you example of ch sound. For example, change. But when I have the word chemistry, ch becomes k sound. So I say chemistry, I say chrome, so I do not really, or chromium, I do not say chromium or chrome or chemistry. Okay. Likewise, there are tons of such examples. The sounds that you see here, these are mere sounds, so don't look at it as a letter. For example, sir. Now, I can have a sound which is or I can have a word where sir is used as a sir sound, s is used as a sir sound. For example, solution. All right. But if I have a word which is island, I don't pronounce this as Island. So s is silent here. Okay. For example, if I have a word which is pressure, just because I have two s, I can't say press sir, I can't say press sir. So here double s will become sh sound. So I say pressure. All right. So you need to be very careful how to differentiate between a consonant and consonant sound. Every word that you pronounce will have a consonant sound, not mandatorily. There are certain words there are no consonant sounds at all. There is just vowel sound. For example, I, first person I. I don't have any consonant sound there, right? So a letter is a consonant, but a sound is a consonant sound. So there is a big difference. So any word that you pronounce, if the consonant sound is not fitting properly, that means you are making a mistake. Now, what are the common mistakes that we end up doing? We do a sound shift. So instead of using a particular consonant sound, we make a mistake and use a different consonant sound. These are the common mistakes or common problems that we face. We do a shift between p and f, v and w, s, z, s, sh, j, z. So we interchange this. So let me copy this and I will tell you what do I mean by this. I am going to show you some examples. Okay. All right, let's begin. For example, if I have the word which is print, lot of people pronounce this as frint. So that is where the mistake happens. Okay. There are some people who cannot pronounce the p sound, they replace that with the f sound. For example, if I have a word which is face, they replace that and say pace. Now face is different, pace is different. Pace means speed, velocity. Face means what you see in a person. So when you make this mistake, it leads to change in meaning as well. Okay. Next, I have the word which is victory. They pronounce this as victory. Now remember what I said. If you have the letter V, you need to bite your lower lip. It's victory. And if it's W, you need to make a O out of your lips. So you say victory. No, it's not victory, it's victory. If I have the word water, then I say water. If I say the word vase, flower vase or flower vase, I say vase. If I use the name William, so I make a O out of my lips, I say William. Winter. So it's winter, it's not winter. Okay. Let's move on. Sir problem. So I have a word which is seal, and they replace that with zeal, z sound. For example, if I have the word listen, they pronounce this as listen. It's not listen, it's listen. And the mistake also happens the other way around. For example, z and j is a problem. For example, if I have the word zone, they pronounce this as jone. If I have the word which is page, they pronounce this as page. It's not page, it's page. Sh problem. Now this happens because of regional influence again. For example, send, and they pronounce this. So if you make a mistake, you will end up pronouncing this as shend, shend it. It's not shend, it's send. So these are the common issues that we face in terms of pronunciation. So the best way to learn pronunciation is to pick up words and then break them into consonant sounds. I will tell you how to do that. Now let's read these words for understanding the pronunciation. I'm going to pronounce the word, and if you're watching this on YouTube or MANATV, it doesn't really matter. I want you to repeat after me. And let's be honest, I can't see you, but I want you to put the effort and pronounce it. Let's start. Tariff, dislocate. Now before I pronounce, let's do this. I'm going to pause here for a minute so that you can make a note of all these words. If you're watching it on YouTube in your system, you can either take a picture or you can take a screenshot. If you're watching it on television, please make a note of it. If you write this down on your notebook, it will be easier for you to remember. All right, let's start. Tariff, dislocate, possibilities, leverage, discrimination, environment. It's not environment. Please stop saying environment. It's environment. The next is government. It's not government. Don't say government. It is government. Plurality, determination, derivatives, apartment, disagreement, dislodge. COUP is coup. It's not coop or coup, it's coup. Isolation, quarantine, gesture. A lot of people pronounce this as gesture. It's not gesture just because the letter G is there. It is gesture. Against. Don't pronounce this as against. It's against. Abbreviation, annihilation. I'm going to repeat the words: tariff, dislocate, possibilities, leverage, discrimination, environment, government, plurality, determination, derivatives, apartment, disagreement, dislodge, coup, isolation, quarantine, gesture, against, abbreviation, annihilation. Some more words for you. Distance, extra. A lot of people mispronounce this word extra. They say ekestra. It's not ekestra. So let me break down some of the words to make it simple, to make you understand how to pronounce it. All right? So this is the word. If I have to break it for your quick understanding, it's extra. It's extra. Now what mistake people do is they pronounce this as ekestra. So this is wrong. It's not ekestra, it's extra. All right. Environment. Environment. So this is the correct pronunciation. Environment. And the mistake that you end up doing is you end up pronouncing environment. Now this is wrong. It's not environment, it is environment. So please make sure you're pronouncing it correctly. Another word, against. Now how do I pronounce this? Against. Now the mistake that you end up doing is you end up pronouncing this as against. It's not against, it's against. Government. How do I pronounce this? It's government. And you pronounce this when you make a mistake as government. So don't say it's government, it's government. Environment, against, extra. All right, let's go. Training, paper, popular, significance, domain, competency, competition, repetition, loyalty, strange, dominant, vibrancy, chronological, pictorial, confirmation, technology, accrual, gratuity. It's not gratuity, it's gratuity. All right. So when you have all the consonant sounds in front of you, please write these sounds in Telugu right next to it so that you can understand. So I'm going to repeat these sounds so that you can make a note of it. The first one is per. So you can write it in Telugu so that you can understand. Per, b, t, d, k, g, ch, j, th, the, s, z, sh, zh, f, v, w, h, r, y, l, m, n, ng. Okay. So if you're watching it live, if you felt that I'm too fast, go back to YouTube, replay this video and write it down. And the next slide, you will have the examples. So these are the entire list of consonant sounds. Now what we're going to do is we're going to read a particular passage to make sure that we are understanding it right, and we'll pick certain words from the passage and we'll have a quick reading exercise. So let me look up something which is relevant for all of you. Okay, the internet doesn't seem to be working, so let me look up something from my database here. Alright, here we go. Let's start. Laws of nature are not commands but statements of acts. The use of the word law in this context, it's not context. So don't make a mistake there. It's not context, it's context. The use of the word law in this context is rather unfortunate. It would be better to speak of uniformities in nature. This would do away with the elementary fallacy. What do you mean by this fallacy? Now I can give you the meaning immediately, but I want you to look it up in dictionary.com or a dictionary book. So please put the effort of learning these words, vocabulary, so that you can use these words later. And how it's pronounced? Fallacy. F-A-L-L-A-C-Y. This would do away with the elementary fallacy that a law implies a lawgiver. If a piece of matter does not obey a law of nature, it is punished. On the contrary, we say that the law has been incorrectly stated. Alright? When you have a passage to read, read slow and try to pronounce the word properly so that you understand. Passage number 2, this is reading practice. At this stage of civilization, when many nations are brought into close and vital contacts for good and evil, it is essential. Now you see this word, it's not essential, it's essential. So instead of s sound, we have a z sound here. It is essential as never before that their gross ignorance, it's not gross. When you have this word, so let me quickly show you an important aspect which you need to know. I have a word which is gross. Now this word can be pronounced in two ways. First one, gr o s. I can say gross or I can say gr o s. Okay? This is your word and this is the pronunciation. Clear? Now pay attention what I am doing. This is very important for you to understand the importance of it. Okay? Now if I am pronouncing this as gross, it means it's dirty or vulgar. Okay? If I say gross, that means it's a total before net. For example, you are earning, say for example you are working somewhere and you are earning some money and that money is 10,000 rupees. Now your gross income is 10,000 rupees. On this 10,000 there will be 10% tax deducted as at source, TDS. So your gross is 10,000 minus 1,000 tax is 9,000. So 9,000 is the net on hand, but before that it is gross, which is before the net, or it's also a subtotal. Clear? So the word is same, the spelling is also same, gross, but the way I pronounce it, the meaning changes. You got to be very careful. So let me give you an example here. The painting looks gross. Okay? So when I have, slide please, when I have gross and I'm pronouncing this as gross, that means it's dirty. Let me remove this, this will be easier. Okay? Now when I'm pronouncing this as Gross. The gross income was 8,000 rupees. Gross also means big. For example, just a moment. Okay. All right. So let's look at the passage again. So I'm going to read this up again. At this stage of civilization, when many nations are brought into close and vital contact for good and evil, it is essential as never before that their gross ignorance of one another should be diminished, that they begin to understand a little of one another's historical experience and resulting mentality. It is the fault of the English to expect the people of other countries to react as they do to political and international situations. Our genuine goodwill and good intentions are often brought to nothing because we expect other people to be like us. This would be corrected if we knew the history, not necessarily in detail, but in broad outlines of the social and political conditions which have given to each nation its present character. So you see the word character. I have the letter CH and it's pronounced as K. I don't say character, I say it character. One last passage for quick reading. Today, perhaps your only association with the word polio is the Sabin oral vaccine that protects children from the disease. 55 years ago, this was not so. The dreaded disease, which mainly affects the brain and spinal cord, causing stiffening and weakening of muscles, crippling and paralysis. It's paralysis, it's not paralysis, it's paralysis. Paralysis, which is why I am in wheelchair today. If somebody had predicted when I was born that this would happen to me, no one would have believed it. I was seventh child in a family of 4 pairs of brothers and sisters with huge 23-year gap between the first and last. I was so fair and brown haired that I looked more like a foreigner than a Dawood Bohri. I was also considered to be the healthiest of the brood. Okay, so when you have a paragraph like this, it will allow you to practice. So that's all about the consonant sound. You can replay the video on YouTube and practice these words. What we're going to do next is understand the vowel sounds. Now, before we go ahead and talk about vowel sounds, I just want to leave you with the information that we are only going to talk about 3 different kind of vowel sounds: long vowel, short vowel and diphthong. Even though we have triphthong and some more categories, it's not really practical for quick understanding, so we will limit our learning only to these 3. Now, as a part of your practice, what I want you to do is take any of these words which is listed. Say for example, let me just take 2 to 3 words. And I'm going to break this one by one to understand the consonant sounds. The best way to do that is pick a word and identify what are the consonant sounds here. So first one is apartment. Apart, par, r, t, m, n, t. Apartment. So these are the consonant sounds in this word. Next, disagreement, D, S, disagreement. So we have G sound here, then R, disagree, M, N, T, disagreement. Then the last one in this list is dislodge. So it starts with a D sound, D, S, L. Now you see the letter D, but it doesn't mean that the sound exists here. So please don't get confused there. Okay? D, S, L, J. Even though the letter J is absent, but this letter G carries the J sound. Okay? So when you are able to break these, so let me expand it. When you are able to break these into all the consonant sounds which is available in that particular word, you will be able to master, or you will be able to understand how consonant sound works. So apartment, A is a vowel sound, so we left that. Apartment. Disagreement, D, S, G, R, M, N, T. Disagreement. Dislodge. Now this is an amazing example. Dislodge, even though we have the letter D, but we have the sound D only in the beginning. We don't have the letter J, but the G carries the function of J. Likewise, you need to break these words into all the consonant sounds so that you understand it better. So when you have the consonant sound written in front of you, pick any word. While you're talking, it can be a simple word like a pen. For example, phone, computer, table, chair, anything which is around you. So try breaking it down to consonant sound and you will be able to understand and master it. Next session we will talk about vowel sounds. Now when you combine the consonant sound and vowel sound, then you will understand the entire sound structure. Okay? So whatever questions you have, please post on the comment section of the YouTube video that you're watching. You can find it online. And if you have any words where you need my help to pronounce it, please post those words. I would love to take your questions and provide you with the answer. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.